buenos días. Estamos en otra ponencia más de Todos por el Mar. Buenos días, muy buenos días. Estamos en otra ponencia más de Todos por el Mar. Gracias a todos por conectarse. Bueno, tenemos aquí a Robert con nosotros, a Pierre. Nos va a dar una super conferencia como siempre, en nuestro panel de Todos por el Mar. Está Luis. Hola Luis, ¿cómo estás? Buenos días.
Hola Albert, saludos a todos, bienvenidos. Y bueno, creo que los que no conocen a Pierre, pues es el hombre orca. Esa es la verdad, es que es el hombre orca. Tuve la oportunidad de estar con él el año pasado y las experiencias que él tiene con estos animales son únicas. Creo que es la única persona que tiene ese nivel de experiencias en el mundo con las orcas. Entonces, bienvenidos a todos.
Gracias. También está Pedro, nuestro biólogo de cabecera. Hola Pedro, ¿cómo estás?
Buenos días, muchas gracias por venir. Tengo problemas de conexión, así que si no me escuchan, lo siento mucho, lo voy a arreglar. Pero muchas gracias por venir el día de hoy. Pierre, we are really looking forward to your presentation. Thank you so much.
Benja, micrófonos son tuyos.
Hola, buenos días. Espero que se hayan conectado todos. A lo mejor perdimos algunos niños que tienen que ir a la escuela a estas horas en México, pero para los que no saben, el conferencista está en Noruega y nos hizo el favor de conectarse para darnos esta conferencia. Queremos hacer como siempre la conferencia y luego preguntas y respuestas, pero pueden empezar a preguntar antes porque al conferencista le gusta que haya preguntas y respuestas, así que nos pueden ir pidiendo el micrófono como siempre, o si no, nos escriben las preguntas y aquí el panel las leerá para que Pierre nos las conteste. Bienvenidos, espero que disfruten esta conferencia. Como dijo Luis, Pierre es el primero que se acercó a las orcas en neopreno y snorkel. ¿Sí? Su experiencia lo hace un experto en clase mundial. Sus ponencias se imparten alrededor del mundo, así que tenemos somos muy afortunados en tenerlo aquí con nosotros. Y bueno.
My name is Pierre, and thank you very much to Luis, to Albert, and to Benjamin for inviting me in this presentation and to let me introduce myself and my work to all the Mexican friends and all the persons there. So I am an orca diver, and I started among the first to snorkel with orcas many, many years ago. My first experience with orcas was 2 days before a spearfishing competition. I was captain of the French team at that time, and it was in Norway. This encounter has changed my life. It was a life changer. First trip in order to snorkel with orcas. And it was with the captain who is employing me as expert today. And this first trip was in 1998. So 20 years ago. And I was not the first snorkeler with orcas, but I was the first using a wetsuit, a spearfishing suit. I have been all the seasons since 1998, a crew member, safety diver, and with the experience, I became expert after many years of experience. I must say that the first thing I want to speak about this amazing experience is the emotion you can have when you are swimming in close encounter with orcas. There is no words to describe what you feel. It's so beautiful, it's so intense. You forget everything. You forget even who you are. And this is something I wanted to do every year, year after year. And I was obsessed since the pure beginning to enter in contact, to enter in communication with orcas. Try to not to speak the orca language, but try to understand in the body language what are the signs that they are disturbed, and then you can understand. You don't try to interact with them, or when they are agree to be visited, when they want to interact with you. So I started to discover some element of the body language years after years, and all of this this behavior of orcas, exploratory behavior of orcas faced to the divers, has been written in a scientific article published in a very good magazine, a scientific report. And all these years, I was guiding people who want to come in close encounter, because it has to be also safe for the divers. And we had more and more people coming, and Luis came last year, and I think that we had a good week with the group, Mexican group. I must say that it's always a pleasure to have a Mexican divers in the boat, because they are super atmosphere in the boat, and they are always lucky guys. So please come back. We need more of this, especially now. And it happened something. It was in 2016 that, you know, in Norway, you have to know that we operate in winter time, and the day is very short and the night is very, very long. And at that time, we had the orcas a couple of 100 meters away from the dock we were. And I had this idea to buy a hydrophone. Hydrophone is a microphone you put underwater to record and to listen what happened. And to go in the evening after the dinner, 8 o'clock, when it's in pitch dark, and try to with a speaker to listen to what happened under the sound, under the surface. And I remember this day was a really, really also another day life-changing. It was a beautiful night in the Kalfjord, no wind, clear sky. We could see the white of the mountain in the snow of the white of the snow in the mountain, and the surface of the fjord was totally flat. And we went in a spot somewhere it was totally silent. I put my hydrophone in the water. I switched off the speaker. During the day before this event, we spotted maybe 50 or 100 of humpback whale in the fjord and hundreds of orcas. And that night, when we came and when I put my hydrophone, I had the feeling that every orcas it was like an orchestra. All the animals, they were playing their own instrument, their own voice, and it was perfectly organized. We had a northern light above in the sky, and this beautiful melody coming from the depth. And I had the feeling that something connected the underwater world and the orcas and the whale sounds, and this beautiful light we had in the sky with the northern light. And we were just in between at the surface, and it was just the surface that was the connection from the depth to the open sky. This has changed my my life also, because I understood on that day that the sound is very important, working in the field of the behavior and the body language of orcas all these years. So maybe you have some question now, guys.
Yes, Pierre. So how is it when you first time you're in the water, you know, with this what usually other people call it the killer whale, with the orcas? How is your feeling? How do you approach them?
The feeling is a total fascination. And I told you, everything stops around. I think that we are more or less sensitive according to the people, but what is remarkable with orcas is that 100% of the guests have guided. They don't fear. They could fear because, as you say, the orca is also called the killer whale. And this is not a proper word because it has never been an attack from wild orcas to a swimmer, to a person, to a human. It has never been reported. So this word of killer whale is not a proper word. And again, the feeling you can have, and we all have experienced this. And I guess that if we ask Louis about the experience, he will say the same. First, no fear. You are just going in the water so naturally, like if it was something you have done all your life. And then you have a total fascination when these orcas are coming to see you, to watch you, and to share some seconds, some minutes of their life with you. It's a blessing. It's a blessing, really.
Okay, Pedro.
I have a question for you. How you got involved the first time with this activity of yours? How do you got involved in this activity of yours first?
I told you in the presentation, it was random. I was doing the free diving and I was doing spearfishing in my youth. First in a hobby, then in competition. And it's during a spearfishing competition that I was for the first time in contact with orcas, when I could hear them underwater and saw some shadows. And I was caught by this day, and I said, okay, now this is what I want to do. And I paid my first trip as a guest. And at the end of the season, the captain asked me to, it was destiny or something, and asked me to be a crew member and safety diver. And then I stayed in this place, and I was every winter, all the weeks, all the days, every dive with orcas. I think I have not missed one opportunity.
I have one question.
To scuba dive with a rebreather, and it works in some conditions, but you need to have very specific conditions to have the orcas chasing and the bait ball above you, and you are just underneath the bait ball, and you can catch some good footage or some good picture of orcas, and it is only 5% of the encounter, maybe 1% of the encounters.
Okay.
Normally, it's snorkeling.
Perfect. And how close can you get to them?
You have no idea. Almost touching. I have never touched orcas on purpose, but I could. In some occasion, I could. I even have to swim backwards once to not be touched by a big orca male. Okay. When it's a feeding, the orcas, they don't care about the human. Now they know we are not a threat. They know we are not a disturbance. They don't even care about us. So you are floating at the surface, or you can even go down. But the best is to stay at the surface. And then the orca male, they are just turning, tail slapping the bait ball, eating one herring after one. And if the herring is 1.5 meters away from you, they will take the herring 1.5 meters away from you. So my advice to the photographer in these conditions is take the very wide angle, even the fish eye, and you will not have the tip of the orcas. You will just have a part of the orca.
I have a question from Facebook, actually. They're asking here, is there any danger doing this? Real danger?
So I will tell you, my truth is I wouldn't put my guest in the water if I had the feeling that it was 0.1% chance of risk. It's too much for me. If I put and if I guide the people in the water, it's because I know it's 100% safe. And when I say 100% safe is that I don't trust the humpback whale 100%. When they are in the feeding ground, they are in the rush, and if you are in the middle, you can be peck slap. I don't trust the pilot whales. Sometimes it has been some rough behavior against the human. I don't trust the bottlenose dolphins. Again, the bottlenose dolphins can have a rough behavior against human. I trust 100% the orcas. And I know into the wild, it will not happen something bad with them, because if they are disturbed, they will go away. The punishment is they disappear and you don't see them again in the day.
Please.
Pierre, can you tell us what's for you the best event you can have with orcas? Is that the baseball event, or which other do you think?
The bait ball is an amazing flow of adrenaline flooding in your vein, and you are super excited. You don't know where to look. You are looking 1 orca 3 meters in front of you, and there is another one 1 meter in your back, and you turn, just do like this. And this is amazing adrenaline and something like this. But the beauty of the encounter is not the thing I prefer. I prefer when the orcas are in social behavior with us. Means when they are opening the social life of the group and let you swim with them and react to your presence, look at you, eyes in eyes, sing to you in your direction, like if they try to communicate something. This is super intense, and I'm super excited by the carousel feeding on the herring. But I must say that I am emotionally touched when the orca family open the border of the society and let you inside. Once I had a beautiful encounter with a mother who was milking a super small baby in front of me for long minutes. And when I went back to the boat, I was crying in my mouth because it was so too much. Too much, that's it.
We have here a question from the public. Andy's asking you, what are the body language signs you understand now? And what does each movement mean? And he also asked if there are any families of orcas that already recognizes you after all these years.
So I will first start with the body language. First of all, the orcas, they are speaking with the path of the swim. So when they are pressing you, when they are opening you, it has a meaning. For instance, when we come with the boat, we try to put the boat at the exact level of the orca pod swimming, like this, okay? When the orca is okay to interact, the pod will come behind the boat. Means we are okay, we want to see you. And when the orca pod is opening the angle like this, means not now, or we are not interested. If you try to come in this direction, they will again do like this. So this is the first element, basic element of the body language. You can try to understand when you are in the boat, if you are a boat driver, to understand if the orca group is okay to interact with you or not. And in the water, for instance, I know that the orcas don't like when you are snorkeling with them all the time. It's not because you are a free diving champion and you can go down to 50 or 60 meters that it's going to be something special with this. It's not going to happen 100% because the orca, most of the time, when you are swimming at the surface, if they are down and if they don't come to breathe at the surface close to you, they are not comfortable with your presence. And if you dive, they will dive, and they dive deep. And they come back at the surface very far away because they have been pushed and they don't like it. So again, this part of the body language, if the orca is coming to breathe at the surface close to you, means they are comfortable. But I think that this is also true with all the cetaceans. It's also true with dolphins, pilot whales, and everything. If this animal come and breathe close to you, means they are okay. If they stay in some meters, stay at the surface is the best, okay? Another sign, for instance, is the position of the pectoral fins, okay? It's the opposite of the shark. If the shark is coming with to visit you, I've been speaking with some shark specialists. I am not a shark specialist, but if the shark is coming like this to you, then better to swim away. But if they are going with the open pectoral fin, it seems that they are okay. This is what the shark specialists say. For the orcas, it's the opposite. The orca, when they have the relaxed flipper like this, means they are relaxed actually. And you see most of the time they are swimming with the pectoral fin like this, okay? And when they have extreme attention, you see them, they are doing like this. They open the pectoral fin. This is also a sign. It's not because, it's not a sign of danger. It's just the sign that they are over-checking you. They are super checking you, okay? These are some elements of the body language, okay? Depending on the side or the eye they will use to check you, it can be social or it can be checking also. Okay, if it's a left eye, it's going to be social. If it's a right eye, it's going to be a checking. There is also some difference like this. What was the second part of the question? Sorry.
Yeah, if there is any family of orcas that already recognize you.
You know, some people call me the Orcaman or the Orca Whisperer after all these years because I was among the first, not because I'm better than the others. But I mean, for me, I would love to say that when I go in the water, they recognize me and they come and enjoy my presence. But it doesn't work like this, you know. It doesn't work like this. They are wild animals. Maybe they recognize me, or maybe if there is a difference of interaction between me or the people I guide, is because of my experience, because I take a better angle, because I have a better swim. I cannot say if it is because they recognize me or if it is because I have a little bit more experience and my swim is speaking more to the orcas, so they are more tolerant with me. And I'm not sure they are recognizing me as a person. But what I would add is that, you know, orcas, and you have orcas in Mexico in the Cortes Sea. They are eating mobulas there. And I've seen some footage of the people snorkeling with orcas, and it's something I was expecting, because the orcas, when they don't know something, they are extremely curious. They want to see what's happening. They want to check everything. They want to understand what's going on and what you are in the water. So they will come to you and they will turn around you and they will check you from the top to the fins and everything, scanning and clicking on your direction. This is when it's the first time that they spot you. So after some encounter with humans, the orcas, they know what we are. And in Norway, since 25 years now, they know what we are. And there is more and more boats, more and more people in the water, and more people going in the orca field and in close encounter with orcas, know exactly what we are. And they don't need this information anymore. So most of the time they are avoiding because they don't need the information, they are avoiding the boats and the snorkelers. Except when they have a feeding, then they are super tolerant. That was
Albert.
okay.
I have a couple of questions from Facebook, and they're asking, what kind of training do one must have if you want to try the Orca experience? Do you have to do like some training beforehand?
It's not necessary to be an Ironman or to be a free diving champion to come here and to enjoy very good and great and beautiful encounter with orcas. But still, you are in the sea. The conditions can be quite rough, some wind, some choppy sea, some cold water, cold air. So it's always better to be in good shape, to be a good swimmer, or to have, let's say, a good shape by running or biking or swimming, in order to make the dive or the snorkel more comfortable. You know, if you are not comfortable when the orcas are coming to interact, you miss everything. You are struggling with your poor shape, you are breathing, you are looking above the surface, and they are maybe 1 meter behind you. So all of this, if you want to enjoy and to be ready, you have to be prepared for that, and it's better, always better, even if it's not necessary again.
perfect. Thank you. And there's another question. What is the real chance to miss the orcas during the trip? I know people that have been there and they saw only once.
Yeah, so, you know, orcas, they are a wild animal. They are unpredictable. There are things that we cannot control. It's a wildlife. When you go for a wildlife trip and you want to encounter, but it's not only true with orcas, it's true with all species you go to visit into the wild. It can be in Africa, the big five, it can be whales, it can be sharks, it can be everything. And especially the orcas who are totally wild, and we don't feed orcas to keep them in a place. So there is always a risk to not see orcas, and depending on the migration of the herring, that can be a little bit later, starting a bit later, or stopping a bit earlier, or not exactly in the place we are. In Norway, the orcas, they are eating herrings in wintertime, so we know the location where they are, and we have a population big enough, it's between 2,000 and 3,000 orcas in the north of Norway, to have more or less a couple of hundreds of orcas available there. But still, it's not easy. It's not easy. But I would say that, for instance, last year, to speak about us, we had 14 weeks in the field, so 14 groups of people, and only the last we didn't see the orcas. Otherwise, we have seen orcas every week, and we have been in the water every week with orcas. And the year before, it was 100% spotting. The year before, 100% spotting. So this is what happened before. We cannot predict for a person who wants to come if it's going to be a good week or not. Everything actually depends on the migration of the herring, and also depend on the weather condition. We are in the north of Norway. We are in the Arctic circle. We cannot exclude that it will be a 5 days storm week, and that happened the last week of the season. That will block us in the harbor, because we cannot go if there is a storm. So to answer to this question briefly, there is no insurance, and there is always a risk, even if the risk in this place is quite low.
It's very low. And more if we go with you, it's almost certain that we can see one, no? Almost certain. Well, I have another question. Dice, I'm going to read it in Spanish and then I'm going to translate. Me encanta que tenga Robert estas conferencias. Tengo una pregunta. ¿Ha visto poblaciones de orcas de otras partes del mundo comportarse de una manera más agresiva o apartados? ¿O siempre son curiosas? She's asking that she's seen orcas other parts in the world, and they seem more curious, and they try to approach you. Is that normal?
Yeah. This is what I was telling you just minutes ago. Is if you meet orcas that have never seen people in the water, they will be super curious. That this is totally normal, because they come very close to you and they check you everything. If you come back in and meet the same orcas again and again and again and again, then they will have this information of what you are, and they will maybe not be that curious. But the first time, that's for sure. It was in 2015. Yeah, we had a couple in the boat, and this couple is a filmmaker and professional photographer, and we were in the north of Tromsø area, and we're outside the fjord system, and we met a group there, and I would bet that this group had never seen divers underwater, and the big female came to check the lady, the woman, the photographer, Ellen, so close, so close. And she turned around and she was checking and checking and checking. And poor Ellen, she was almost shocked by the encounter. She was crying at the survey. I have this footage because I have filmed this interaction, and I have posted recently. And I was sure with the behavior, by reading the behavior, that these orcas had never met people underwater. They were new one. That was cool.
The most important part, did she take a good picture or no?
She got some good picture, yeah.
Okay, good. There are some questions here. They are all related, so I'm going to summarize them because instead of reading each one of them, there are a lot of questions here about their language, you know, their sign language. How do you recognize it? What else? What other movements or signals they give? And also a question regarding if the singing of the orcas is part of their language, either to the other orcas or to humans.
So I am not a sound specialist because I'm new in this field and I have to learn. But I know some acoustic engineers and some acoustic specialists in the sound of orcas and in the sound of whales. The orcas, they are belonging to the family of the dolphins, and they use sounds for speaking. And it is a language. It's a very complex language. So far, we have not cracked the code, but all the linguistic specialists, they agree to say that it's a very complex language. And they use a whistle in a range of frequency. Maybe I have something here. Just because I have a, okay. Okay, the range of frequency is from 1 to 40 kilohertz for the whistles. Just one information, the human hearing cannot hear sounds over 20 kilohertz. They use also the pulsed calls for free-ranging group recognition or free-ranging, close-ranging communication. And this is for communicating information. And they use also echolocation system. An echolocation system is a click they are producing in the acoustic system, in the body acoustic system. And this click is sent in the water. And because the water propagates the sound much faster than in the air, the sound is, the echo is very fast, and they can analyze everything they have around us, even in pitch dark, even if the sea is not clear. So we can say that, for instance, in Norway, we know that all the families of Norway, it's about, let's say, 70 or between 70 and 100 families, different families, we don't know exactly the number. They all have a common part of language. Means they all have common sounds they use. And each family, they have their own dialects. Some parts of the sound they are using and not the others. So they call that the dialect. And it seems that according to the genetics survey, when two groups are closely related, genetically related, they have a similar dialect. And if they are very different genetically speaking, they have a different dialect. So it means there is a correlation between the genetic and the sounds. And it's probably the same in other parts of the world.
Okay. One question here from the panel is, when you're snorkeling with orcas and there are babies there, are they as curious? They are more curious, or what is your experience?
So as long as the orca is connected to the mother in the 2 first years, for instance, the baby orca stay with the mother. And it happens sometimes that they make a short visit on the way, or the mother stay there and let you watch them for a while. But when they get a little bit older, and especially when they become a young female, they are much more playful. The young female, they are really playful between themselves, and they sometimes open the game to the divers, and they are really funny to see them. You know, they are really playing, rolling on each other, pushing, and okay, it's kids.
Okay, and there is a question here regarding the cost of a trip like this.
Oh, the cost. I'm not involved in the business in this, so I'm an Orca expert, and I am working for a company called Orca Norway, led by Solveig Mulvik and Olaf Magne Strømsholm. They are Norwegian, and Olaf is the skipper of the boat, and they are owning this business. But I would say that it has to something about can I speak in euro, or do I have to say in dollar?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Euro is okay. Let's say it has to be around a bit less than 5,000 euro. Okay. I think so.
Okay.
Basic.
Okay. I have one question coming from myself. I've seen you do TED Talks. What are these talks about?
You mean my TED Talk?
Yes.
Oh. This is a vision I had very recently, that the orcas are using sounds. They are intelligent creatures. They are sharing their knowledge from generation to generation since millions of years. They have a very big brain, and this brain is potentially more performant than the human brain. This is amazing. And I've been with orcas many years, many times. I felt something in the water. You know, it's something that you can feel and you cannot explain why you feel good, what's happening. Is it only because this animal is here? Or is it something else? And came this idea to me that the sound they are using when they are in social game can have a healing effect on us, and also between themselves. I had a friend called Pierre de Castellan, which is a bioacoustician engineer working in Guadeloupe, in a Caribbean island. And he has observed sometimes the humpback whale gathering, and they were giving each other a sound massage. And all this observation make me think that the cetaceans, they are a brilliant civilization. They have knowledge, we have no idea. Because we don't understand what they are saying. We have to crack the code. And this is the reason why we must put a lot of money, a lot of specialists, a lot of talents in order to crack the code, to understand the knowledge of these creatures. Because there is something we can use. This is my vision now, and this is a project I'm working on. And some people will tell me crazy. Yes, I am. But I strongly believe that we must crack this code, and we must access to this knowledge. It is our own interest. The science now is following a path. I know how works the science. I'm a chemist engineer myself. And if we follow this path, it's going to take maybe 500 years until we understand and we crack the code. And we all know, you guys and me knows, that the oceans, what we are doing to the oceans, they don't have 50 years in front of them. So we have to take shortcuts, and we have to go fast in order to go and to access to this knowledge. Because if we lose this knowledge, if this population for any reason collapse, like they are collapsing in the British Columbia, and like they are threatened in the planet, we're gonna lose this knowledge forever. And for me, it's not acceptable. This is why sometimes I'm a little bit pushy for the science, and I want to take some shortcuts. Even if I'm wrong, I know this is the way we have to go.
Okay. Pedro, our marine biologist, is asking you if you have participated in any investigation and what was the objectives of those investigations.
So far, I took part in a research work dedicated to the behavior, exploratory behavior of orcas. Say to him, if he's listening to me, he go to the website nature.com, and he just have to, in the research tool, to write orcas or my name, Pierre Robert de Latour, and he will find the article. I'm third author there. And this is about the exploratory behavior. We are working currently in another article, but this article will not use statistics. It's going to be not the way we're going to use to go further. This is a choice we have made with Stephanie, which is the first author, and we are currently working on this based on the video and also in the observation directly in the field. About the sound, I must say that it's a little bit confidential. Sorry, guys, because we are working in this. So I hope that in the following month or years, maybe month, we're going to propose something interesting for all the marine biologists. And we need all the talents. We need all the person who want to get involved in this project. Yes.
There was recently, I mean, I think it was a few days ago, a publication of a group of orcas attacking a boat of the Spanish army. Do you know anything about it, or you can tell us anything?
Yeah, I can, because one of my contacts, one of the person not involved, but received the video and sent it to me to let me check this video. And I must say that we don't see anything on this video. We just see a sailing boat sailing very fast. And to resume the situation, it has been several boats in Galicia, in Spain, who has been touched or damaged, not attacked, but damaged by a group of orcas. What we don't know if it is the same group or not. I would bet that it is the same group because there is not a lot of families of orcas in this place. Currently, they are there because they are following the tunas. And on the video, we can see the skipper with the wheel, and you see them moving like this. And you see the orcas underneath the surface, very close to the boat. But I would say that because it's a sailing boat, they come very close. And maybe it was a vibration in the rudder. Maybe it's something they want to check, they want to explore. And, you know, they just have to touch a little bit the rudder, which is a fragile part of the boat. The orcas, they are 2, 3, 4 tons. The boat is very big. So if they touch this, just touch, it's enough to damage this place and to move the boat. So I wouldn't say they have been attacked. I would say that it's extreme curiosity or it's a game. And again, it's the feeling I had watching the video. Oh, what's happening?
Quítalo, Albert, quítalo, Albert, quítalo.
What's happening?
No, don't worry, it's Albert putting the notice of what
Okay.
we're talking about.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. So of course, when the journalists they report this, they have to be, you know, to make audience. So they will say the orca attacks, the orcas attack the boat. But yeah, this is the video I've been given. We don't see a lot. We don't see anything. So it's quite difficult. And what would help is if we had the underwater video to see the angle the orca make to touch the rudder. But again, with an animal as big as orca, it doesn't have to be a hard hit to make a big damage.
Okay, there are also questions here if you have personally had encountered.
Can I just add something? Can I just add something? If I was the skipper of the boat, I would have stopped the boat and jumped in the water.
Of course. Have you have a personal experience with orcas in other parts of the world, like Canada or Mexico?
I have no experience in other parts of the world. I was once in British Columbia and I saw the transient from far from the ferry, and it was a very short observation, almost nothing, and that's it. I've been once in the Falkland Islands because I wanted to see the orcas chasing the pups of elephant seals in the elephant corner in the Sea Lion Islands. I was not in the good season. It was no orcas the 4 days I was there. And that's it. Otherwise, I do with the video I receive and what I can check in the YouTube to see these other orcas. Now we have, thanks to YouTube, we can access to a lot of stuff and we can check the behavior and compare the behavior. So this is great. But no experience of orcas in other parts of the world.
Okay. Are there any physical differences between families of orcas?
In Norway, we don't see any difference between in this population. This population is quite similar. But if you check the different ecotypes in the world, you can start to see some difference. The size is not the same. The color can be different. For instance, in Antarctica, you have the ecotype B and C. They are a little bit yellowish in the back because of the microalgae. The dorsal fin can be different. The shape of the melon can be different. The eye patch can have different size. The Antarctica ecotype D, they have a very small eye patch. So we start to see between these different ecotypes some physical difference. And you know, evolution is a process which will never stop. And maybe we are at the beginning of something that will end up in some subspecies and different species. Who knows? It's going to take thousands and thousands of years before it comes.
Okay. Before we pass to Albert, he has some questions. Are there any pictures you can show us?
Let's try. Let's try. This picture has been taken the first or the second trip. It's a young female coming to interact in the typical behavior and putting the eye in the left eye, the right eye in the camera. So she was exploring she was in exploration behavior. And it was a group of 3-4 females, and they were turning around us. And I remember that the person who took this picture, it's a Norwegian photographer called Pierre. He's living in Ålesund. I say hello to him when you will see this presentation. I was filming him when this female came back and almost sniffed his fins. So it was quite funny to see these two fins trying to avoid the orca, and this orca was quite close. Maybe you can try to see another one, if you're okay.
Yeah, sure.
Please.
I have to go to my folder, and let's see, maybe this one. This is how look a family of orcas. You see, it's a big male you see behind, and another big male in the background. A female in front, So it can be between, it's just a part of the pod because around us it can be between 15 or 30 orcas all together sometimes. So this is why you guys, if you want to photograph orcas, you need to have a very wide angle. I must say that this was taken with a 24 millimeter.
Okay.
So they were close and so.
Very close. A fisheye lens, so it looks.
It's interesting to see how the last one was looking at me when he was guiding the orcas in front of him. It's something I noticed as a behaviorist. So yeah, and this one is a large female, and she's picking up a herring at the edge of the bait bowl. Okay, and this picture is not sharp enough, but on the video, because it's taken from the video, you can see that the orca is 100% focused on the herring he will take, and at no one moment he's looking at me. But I'm quite close again because it's a 24 millimeter. But this orca is just checking the herring, and he doesn't even care about my presence. Okay, I give you the last one. Start with my picture, but let's try the last one. Same feeling. Couple of minutes later, it was a big male, and he was blowing underwater. You can see that you have some herrings around him, like this. You know, the small silver patch, long patch. And for any reason, he opened the mouth and blew something. Some people, some other experts, they will maybe say something about that. They will maybe say that it has a signification. And for me, I don't know. It's the second time I saw or third time I saw this, so I cannot connect this action of blowing in the water and some mood or some behavior. So I would say that I don't know why he did that. I guess it must be a lot of reasons, different reasons. So it's a little bit adventurous to say and to say it has this meaning. So some picture.
Amazing,
Very
amazing.
nice pictures.
Albert, you have more questions, right?
Yes. Do you swim in the same pod, or have you identified yourself with an orca? And if yes, why?
Do I swim with
the same pod? Well, the same family, or?
Yeah, we have, I think we have between 70 and 100 families, different families in Norway. We never know which one we're going to encounter, but we can recognize them because some members of the family, they have a very specific back, some scars, some injuries, cut dorsal fin, so especially the big males. So we can recognize the family we are swimming with. And we meet this family, and but I don't notice the difference. Some are friendly, regularly friendly. Some they are known to be shy. Some individual in the group, they don't interact, and you spot them, and you will never see them underwater. And some of them, they come systematically to spot you. We have a big male. Scientists call him Aramis, super friendly. He has a white dot very close to the blowhole, and I have a lot of pictures with this guy because maybe I don't always pay attention to this, but when I check my picture, okay, answer to Cortina. The photo ID catalog, please go and visit the website of the Norwegian Orca Survey. They are a scientific team, and they had made a catalog, and there are over 1,100 individual identified. So Norwegian Orca Survey, take contact. And I think this catalog is is open. So sorry, I just saw a question, so I was answering the question.
Okay, there's a question here regarding the diet. Apart from herring, what else do they eat?
Oh, it's a very interesting question, because if you compare with the population of orcas in British Columbia, for instance, you have a residence in wintertime. But the rest of the year, these families have been spotted eating salmons, eating herrings, eating other fish, birds, harbor porpoises, and even seals. And last year, I spoke with a scientist called Richard. Just a moment. Okay, fixed. Last year, a scientist called forget his name. Aydin Rekartsen. Sorry, I was confused about something. The phone call has disturbed me. Aydin Rekartsen. He has spotted a group of orcas in the north of Tromsø, chasing seals in the end of October, and 1 week later, we spot the same group chasing the herring in Skjervøy, 100 kilometers away. Just to tell you, now we know that it's so easy for them to switch from one diet to the other diet. And it seems that among the orca population in Norway, there is a gradient. All the family, they more or less eat seals and herring, but there is a gradient. Some family, they eat a lot of seals and some herring in winter times, and in the other side of the gradient, you have families eating almost only herring and fish and few seals. Again, the Norwegian Orca Survey, they have released a very brilliant article about that. So I invite all your followers who are interested to some science facts to visit the Norwegian Orca Survey and to take contact with them.
Perfect. Thank you. I have another question here on Facebook. It says, what kind of behavior do you have to get close? You have to, what's your behavior when you try to approach the orcas so they don't see you as a threat?
So they know we are not a threat. Orcas, they are apex predator. There is no predator catching orcas, so they don't stress about that. It's maybe the only marine creatures that can be quiet because there is no predators. And so they don't see us as a threat. But still, they are not shy, but they are distant most of the time. So we must be invited in the social zone. I work with a theory called the proxemic, and this theory split the space around you in different zones. Close to the body, there is intimate zone. Outside, there is a social zone. Outside, there is a public zone. And now I have identified exactly the border between the intimate and the social, and the border between the social and the public zone. And to interact with orcas, we need to enter in the social zone. And it's a question of angle and speed. So when they are moving, when they are swimming, we need to put the boat at the side and stay there until they give indication. Most of the time, when they skip the line like this, we try to take over. Means that we will be in front, not exactly in front, but at the side like this. So when they are tolerant, we put the people in the water, and my advice is to stay still, never rush in the direction of the animal, because this they don't like. There is no one wild animal who feel comfortable if one human is rushing in this direction. Even orca, they don't like it. So my advice is staying still at the surface, or if you're in front, start to swim in front. Because you are swimming in front, they will come very close to you. It's not very easy to do that because you have orcas swimming in your back. And I know it's not comfortable, but with the experience, this is what I do in order to make the orcas coming very close to me and taking over so I can really interact eye to eye with orcas. It's impressive, I will tell you. And the most comfortable is to stay still and to look the orca coming to you. But if you stay still, it's okay.
Okay, I have another question. It's a composite question. It says, love to hear these incredible experiences and to see these stunning images. I have two questions. Which aspects of behavioral biology and orcas do you think need more attended and studied nowadays? And the other one says, and do you think these dialects and culture in different ecotypes of orcas can function as selective forces of evolution?
I would say undoubtedly work in the language of orcas. We need to crack the code. This is the most important. You know, it's nice to know that they have a gestation 18 months. It's nice to know how many teeth there are, or all of this and the measurement and everything. But the language is the challenge, and because then it will require a lot of money, a lot of talents to crack this, and this is the emergency for me. So I would say undoubtedly the language. This is the most important because it is complex, because there is something behind, something we don't understand. And I hope that now with the artificial intelligence, we can use something. We have the tool to understand the language of orcas. For me, I would say that we don't understand the language of orcas because the brain of the human is not made to understand this language. It's, you know, it has been created by creatures with a brain, 6-kilo brain, and with a very complex part in the brain. So they have the brain adapted to understand this language, and we don't. We don't. It's like if you ask your dog to understand the language of humans. He knows we are speaking. He understands some words, like I understand the pectoral fin and so on. But the dog will be limited by the brain, and we are limited. I'm sorry to say so, and because we humans, we have a very high opinion of ourselves, but we don't have the brain to understand the orca language so far. And the key is money, talent, and artificial intelligence. And the second part of the question was, sorry?
And the second part, well, the first part were the aspects of behavioral biology in orcas.
Yeah, it was about the dialects, if I'm right.
Yeah, and the other one is what type of different ecotypes of orcas can function as selective forces of evolution?
I'm not sure to understand very well this question.
Maybe the evolution of language.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, we know that the more the orcas are genetically separated, the more physically they will be different, and the more the language will be different. But you know, it has not been proved now, but it has been observed, not proved, but observed, that orcas, they can mimic language, but it's also dolphins. They can mimic the language of other species. They can use the sounds and imitate the sounds of other species. Orcas, they can imitate the sound of the engine noise, of engine, motor engine, sorry. And they know how to do it. And I wouldn't be surprised if one day we find out that it can have a common language, and the orca, they can be understood by the sperm whale by the whales, and the whales by the dolphins. You understand that all these species, they find a way to communicate to each other with the sound, and they can understand to each other. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if one day we find out this. They are really intelligent, really intelligent.
They're the most intelligent in the world, I think. No, on the sea, actually. Luis?
Pierre, I've seen you diving with the orcas with a wetsuit instead of dry suit. I know your chances are much better with a wetsuit than dry suit. Can you tell us something about how do you prepare to do these dives with wetsuit, and what type of wetsuit do you use?
When I was younger and tougher and more resistant to the cold, I started with a wetsuit of 5 millimeter in the cold water of Norway. And the season was shorter, it was only 3 weeks. Now, because the time has gone, I'm 61 soon, and I'm less resistant to the cold. And I have also to manage a long season, 3.5 months or almost 4 months every day. I use a 9 millimeter. The model is a spearfishing wetsuit. I have a small maker, a friend of mine, who is making a custom-made wetsuit, and they are good enough for me. And again, I don't prepare myself that much for snorkeling. You know, orcas, they make it easy. You go in the boat, the driver say go, you go in the water. That's it. This, you know, it's not something. I understand that some people, and I was like this also at the beginning. Some people, they are not anxious, but you know, they want to control everything. They want to be ready. They want, you know, there is this concern of really do everything to put all the chance in the pocket. But I would say that forget the idea of control, because anyway, orcas control everything. Weather control everything. We just have to be in the boat to endure the cold, to endure sometimes that the orcas, they are shy or they don't want to interact, to be ready. And we just have to wait until the boat driver say go, and then we go in the water and everything's happening.
Perfect.
Okay, there is a question if there is any catalog of the families you have identified in Norway, and if we can read it, or is somewhere that we can find it?
Yeah, so I personally don't work with photo ID catalog. I am a behaviorist. It's interesting to me to know which family we are interacting with, but we recognize more or less the family because of some individuals, but we don't know every member of the family. The last time I've been speaking with one of the leaders, it was more than 1,100 orcas photo identified. So again, go to Norwegian Orca Survey. The internet website is really easy to, if you Google the name. And there is an online catalog. I think so.
Okay. Somebody asking here if you can play us more orca music.
just wait. I have to go there. It's coming. Can you hear it?
Yes.
Let's try something else.
very nice.
What did they say?
I would love to know.
Okay, I have a question here. It
Tell me.
says, "Hello. What is the most rare fact that you ever experienced with orcas? I mean, talking about their behavior."
Ah, what a question. The rarest I've ever experienced. I think that I would speak about that. I had a lot of encounters, more than 6,000. If I had to keep one, I will speak about the rescue operation of the big male called NP52. He was caught in a fishing net, and the Coast Guard asked us, because they know we had diver, and I was a rescue diver, to cut a rope of this. He was entangled in the rope, and the rope was thread down to a very heavy net, and he had to hold the net up to breathe at the surface, and he was pulled down by the weight of the net. And I had to cut this. It was in 2005. It was a long time ago, in the Lofoten Island. And when I tried to cut this rope, he didn't let me come close to him. He was not stressed, but he was avoiding me all the time. At that time, we didn't have the same experience that we have today. And we didn't know basically how to come close to this wave. So we were rushing in the orca direction. And he was more and more confident, and he let me come close to him. And he turned to face me like this, totally in front of me. It was really huge. I was impressed. I was exhausted, and I just had a quick snorkel, free dive underneath the pectoral fin to cut the rope with the knife I had. This was the last chance he gave me, because it was late evening and he was struggling, and I knew at that moment that he was swimming like this, not like this, but like this, struggling against the weight of the net. He was giving me the last chance, because if he was down at that moment, he would never be back to the surface. And I took this opportunity and I saved this whale. I saw him 2 years later. He was still alive, and now I don't know if he's still alive or not. But I must say that I was expecting, when he was released, that he went back to kiss me and to show he was grateful to me, and he went to the family like a rocket. So it was not that grateful, but I'm just kidding, because you know, when you think about such a rescue operation, it can be a nice story to say that the orca came and show how grateful he is, but it doesn't work like this with wild animal. He was running away and joining the family. Good. That was my most intense moment with orcas, I would say. He could eat me anytime. I was in the water with him. He was trapped. He could have a bad reaction to me, and I never felt I could be attacked by this orca. Even the boat driver, my friend Arne, when it was finished, he told me, "Why did you do that?" And I said, "Because you asked me." He was surprised that I could go in the water to try to save this whale, because he thought that that could be a bad reaction from the whale. But it was no bad reaction. He was just avoiding me.
Okay. There's a film that I was looking at. It's like a short film you're producing, or what is this film about? The Dark.
The Kingdom of the Dark.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a movie project from Tony Meyer. My friend Tony Meyer was guiding me some interviews. He has his own picture. We hope to go further in this project for the next season, but unfortunately, we will not have a next season, this season, because due to the COVID situation, we had to cancel the season. And I must say that it makes me very sad. I'm very sad also for the guests. Everything has been postponed for the next season. We had to take the decision now because we need also to protect the interest of our own guests and don't put them in a situation that can be very, very bad. So it's always difficult to take this decision, but it's something that was not expected. And this pandemic situation is, we have to wait. Basically, we have to wait. It's impossible to plan any trip. So that's the way it is. And so this project, movie project, is also postponed because we need more interview footage and everything.
When do you think it's going to be released? They're asking.
I don't know. It depends on Tony. I'm not the director. I'm just giving my patient, giving my experience to Tony, and he's the one who will release. But we need more footage, and we need to go further.
Okay, perfect. Meja, ¿tienes una? Do you have another?
No, it's just a personal question. I mean, we spoiled Mexican divers. We like warm water, you know. So what do you recommend for us? You know, is definitely a dry suit?
Yeah. If you are not used to snorkel in cold water, if you are not used to, take a dry suit. Okay. You can have a really good encounter with a dry suit, and it's much more comfortable. White suit, you have to know it's going to be rough. Okay. But I know some Mexican, they are also tough guys, and they can do it in a wetsuit too. You know, now I start to have some good experience with Mexican people. They are tough guys, surprisingly tough. Even in the cold, they're resistant.
Okay.
Mrs. Mas, do you have another question?
Yeah.
I have here in Facebook, it says, I was trying to ask the one we didn't understand very good. She's rectifying. What I was trying to ask is if Robert thinks that isolation caused by unique dialects and cultures between ecotypes can lead to the evolution of maybe a new subspecies or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. This is how it works. Actually, this is how evolution works, and how we'll maybe not have the sharp words and the exact words to explain it in English. But you know, at the beginning, it was one species with at the origin of all cetaceans, and it has been evolution and diversification, and now you have maybe 60 different species, and this process is not stopped. It's still continuing, and I believe that with isolation, yes, the genetic will will be specialized in the hunting or in the location, if they have to swim close to the ice or close to shore, or if they are eating only penguins. Some orcas in Antarctica, they are smaller, and you know, all of this, they are specialized in the hunting strategy. So all of this make the difference. And one day, yes, one day, but not tomorrow, because evolution is a process on tens of thousands of years. One day we're going to have subspecies and maybe some different species of orcas. Why not?
They're asking Luis, when is his next trip to see the orcas?
Where is the next?
Yeah, Luis Sanchez. When is your next trip to the orcas? With Robert.
You want to make me cry? I don't know. I was supposed to go in Norway, and now I don't know. So if the conditions are good, we will maybe explore something new in Norway in February. Or I will go back in British Columbia. Or if my Mexican friends invite me, I will go in Mexico. So why not?
The invitation is already extended to you.
Thank you very much. I would love to. I would love to. Mexico is anyway in my bucket list. It's a country I have to go.
Very nice. Is there somewhere else you can go? Well, you personally know that we can go and visit orcas?
It depends if you want to snorkel or not. The main difficulty is that you have to find orcas easily. Some population are small, and it's not in Norway. Even with 3,000 orcas, it's not easy to spot orcas. So imagine when you have to turn around New Zealand with 170 orcas, for instance, with a huge country, a huge coastline such as New Zealand. You have to know. You have to. It's not easy, but it's possible to see orcas in New Zealand. It's forbidden to snorkel with, but you can see them. You can see also orcas in the Patagonia, in the Peninsula Valdez, where they are stranding to catch the pups of sea lions. But again, you cannot go in the water. Where to go is British Columbia. There is a good chance to see orcas, but you cannot go in the water. If I'm right, it's possible to go in Kamchatka. There are some Russian. They start to organize a snorkeling trip in Kamchatka, but the water is not clear there. But I would say that it's also something I would like to try. Then other places in the world, Iceland, it's forbidden to snorkel. Norway.
Norway. That's the way. Luis?
Here I have a question, Pierre. They say that if the well behavior of the orcas in Norway, is that behavior of the orcas all over the world, or it could change?
It could change. I mean, the behavior faced to the divers will be more or less the same. The only difference is that in Norway, they know exactly what we are, so they are less curious. The behavior and the social structure, I would say, I have no experience. I try to analyze the video. When I see the videos, there are some common parts, and there are also some difference. So, for instance, the transient in British Columbia, when they are hunting, they are very close to each other. In Norway, they are not that close to each other. So there is a common part because there are orcas, but there are also some difference. But still the same curiosity when they have to face something they don't know. This is the common part. You can see in their eyes, they really want to understand what they have in front. Really. You can read in the eyes. What the fuck is... Yeah.
I have a personal question. What's the temperature of the water over there?
I depend. In the beginning of the season, when we are a little bit outside the fjord system, it can be between 6 and 7.
Oh, okay.
And the more you go further in the season, the deeper you go inside the fjord system, and the colder it will be. Average 3 degrees, 4 degrees. It can be 1, 2. And once we were in the dock and we had two German divers. They had a night dive, scuba dive underneath the boat, just close to the boat. And they had a computer. This is something I don't have. They had a computer and they can measure the temperature of the water. And the water was icing at the surface because it was really cold in January. And they went back to the boat. They were a little bit blue lips like this. And they said the water was -1. And it was stinging the mouth that they said. And the face were blue and they said, okay, that's the coldest we have. But it's not orca snorkeling. It was the scuba divers having a dive underneath the boat.
And what's how long do you stay on the water to do all this thing you do?
orcas are deciding. We never decide. It can be 1 hour. But if we have orcas in a very good condition for 5 hours, we go in the water 5 hours. I will not go back in the boat. We had this. We had this.
You don't have like a specific time. You go and see the orcas. We met them and then we go back then, or
no. I know in some places you have some schedule and you have to stay half an hour. This regulation we don't have in Norway. It depends on the situation. We had 2 years ago, one of the first week of the season, we had amazing encounter with orcas just outside the fjord system with a film team called Behind the Mask. And I think it was the 4th day of the week, we had this orca situation. They were chasing the herring in very shallow, close to an island.
And
if the orcas are current, we stay.
Perfect. That's good to know. So we'll go with you and we can stay like 4 or 5 hours, maybe.
Let's say if the orcas give us opportunity to be 4 hours, we go for 4 hours. At least me, I will stay in the water. You can go back in the boat, but I will stay in the water. That's for sure.
No, you can look at your face. Just talking about them, it gives you like such a splendor, like a special haze, you know, when you talk about orcas. So that's very nice to see. That's the love. You
know, Albert, I don't just speak about orcas. I live orcas. And it's so inside me that I'm so sad to skip this season that it's heartbreaking for me. Because the bond I have with these creatures, I even have problem to say animals, these creatures, is so strong and so important for me that it's heartbreaking to know that this season is gone and I have to wait 1 more year. So, but that's the way it is.
Yes. Well, hopefully you'll come and do it twice the dives.
Yeah. maybe in February. We want to try another location in Norway in February. So maybe if the condition is good in February, if the COVID situation is better, maybe I will try in February with my skipper, with Olaf Magne.
Perfect. Okay. Well, very nice. Thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Benja, do you have another question?
No. There are no more questions. I think Mr. Orcaman, that was incredible.
Muchas gracias a todos.
Incredible to hear from this because this is things that we don't see over here. I hope soon you can resume your activities, and even sooner, I hope I can join you there.
Yeah, you're more than welcome, guys.
Me too.
Let's have more Mexican. I tell you, Mexican, they are really lucky people, and it's always something fantastic in the boat when they are coming. So we need more like you guys.
Perfect. Luis.
Well, thank you very much, Pierre. Very nice talk to you, and it was an experience last year. I hope we can make a nice trip next year and be there with you with a very nice Mexican group.
Always a pleasure. Say hello to all my Mexican friends, guys.
For sure, I will.
Thank you for giving us a little time to talk about this, all the way here in Mexico. And I know those are troubled times over there, and maybe with the difference of here being in daytime and there being nighttime. So thanks for making the space to talk to us. And thank you for caring about the ocean, and thank you for caring about all the things we can do for it. So
thank you very much. That's my pleasure.
Thank you.
Pedro
says hi and thank you again, because his internet connection is not very stable. So well, thank you again.
Thank you.
See you in Norway.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
Au revoir.